Hello and welcome. It's Peg, and today's video is the fast replay from Art Joy of Sharing, which is my sister channel that I share with Shall See, where we do live video each Thursday at 10:30 Central Standard Time. Now today we were talking about new products, new to us products, and how we could utilize them in our art. I am just starting by cutting out some images. This is some tissue paper from Studio Light. That's art by Marlene, and she has really cute images. But I like to harvest different things to use in my collage work. I have an old book on my desk, Cards and Trinkets. I was thinking about maybe revisiting some of those old techniques that we had done in the past and see if anybody else is interested in, some of the things that we learned many years ago from the different books and things that, maybe are not on YouTube, and share those with you guys. You can let me know in the comments below what you think about that. Last week we had visited die cuts, and a lot of people work in journals and things and have never really worked with die cuts. So I did kind of an overview of what I do. So yeah, I'm just continuing to cut things up. This is a new to me collage book. Dena Wakely has these books out, and so what I do is I take these papers and things and cut them up to use in my collage work. I don't want it to look exactly like her work. I want it to be what I do in my journal. So I'll cut these papers up and use the components in what I'm doing to make it my own. You know how that is. And a lot of times in a journal, that's what you're doing, is you're taking collage elements and gluing things down and ripping them up and making fold outs and special borders and all of that sort of stuff out of this. So I can very easily tear this apart. But what I do when I get a new book like this is I do pretty much tear it all apart so it's ready to use on a page or card or tag. It just helps to have it broken down. For me anyway, it makes it less precious than in a book, and you say, oh, I should preserve that. No, I'm going to cut it up, I'm going to whack it up, I'm going to use it. So I have actually two of these books. I have a couple of books from Art by Marlene. I have a lot of different die cuts. You can buy books that have die cuts and things in them from a number of different places. I have some from Ranger for more vintagey looking things, but you can see I'm rifling through my box of things that are ready to go. That's a Somerset Studio magazine, and each Somerset Studio magazine has free printed pages in it too. So now I am unboxing some new to me stencils. These come from my friend at, what is it? It is What If NC. Carla has been doing these stencils, and a lot of times I'll talk to her and I'll say, I need some arches, or I need some windows or brick or whatever, and she'll design it for me and she'll cut it out. Now, if you have your own designs, she will cut those too. You just need to have the bridges in your design, and they will show you how to do that. But The thing about stencils is they're a tool for art, and you can design just about anything that you want into a stencil. Now, some of the stencils that I have are designs from Laura Gregain. Laura had requested a 6x6 and a 4x4 stencil from Carla's shop, What If NC, and so Carla cut these designs, and they're pretty cool. So this cute little angelfish was one of the designs that I had seen in the pile, and I decided that I had this bubbly looking page I was going to put these angelfish onto. So I'm pulling out some of the windows and showing the audience, windows and arches. And there's the one that she did for me that has the uh, brick and mortar and rock and, you know, all those different textural ones that I wanted. And then I'm going to paint this out with some gesso where the fish is, and then I'll come back with some uh, yellow paint. Yellow is normally a very transparent paint, and if you're going to paint in yellow, it helps if you put some white behind. So that's what I'm doing. And then I will stencil back over the top of the fish um, just to get my line back. And then once you do that, where the bridges are that are holding the stencil in place, you need to take a pen and go back and fill in those empty spots on the stencil so it looks more like a illustration or line drawing. But I like this little angelfish. It's so cute. And was one of the first ones that I'd seen Carla doing, and I thought, oh, fish. I like fish. So we'll continue to paint this out, but it's got to dry. So now I'm switching over to some more new products, and we started talking about some of the new products. Now this is the spray from Dena Wakely. It's a gloss acrylic spray, and the fun thing about it is once you get a coat down, it starts resisting. The underneath coat resists the top coat, so it does this thing kind of like cell making. And that got me thinking. Dena had come out a year or two ago with this cell maker, and I thought, well, you know, she only has these in certain colors, and the first thing that happens with sprays is they clog up. So I wanted a way to be able to create these sprays. So I started being mad scientist and mixing some of the cell creator in with some different paint and water and different mediums just to see what happens. And that orangey looking tag on my right, yeah, that was done with my own homemade concoction. And I think it turned out pretty darn well. It's hard to see in the video, but it's very textural. It does have cell type uh, areas on the surface. So and it does have the gloss, which is what is the carrying medium, I think, of what's in Dena Wakely stuff. So you know, when we saw the different products that were coming out, I like to figure out what the formulation of them is and how to make them. Like all of those clear, transparent embossing powders. Well, you can get some clear, transparent embossing powder and add some dye ink to it and change the color and make your own. If you got a whole bunch of embossing powder like I do, and boy, I've got years and years of embossing powder, I don't want to go out and buy all kinds of new ones. I want to mix some of the things and make my own. So that's what I'm talking about, things that I learned in the past as, you know, when I started crafting, all these things were not on the market. It was not so easy just to buy them. And many times you had to come up with your own things. So, we didn't have decorative papers. You had to make your decorative papers. And we didn't have all the stencils. So you made your own stencils. And, we carved our own stamps. We did a lot of things. I still do a lot of those things. But if you truly want to make it your own, a lot of times it's nice to be able to know how things are formulated and how to create from scratch, even when you're at home and don't have a product on the shelf. Sometimes you have something else that'll work. So now I'm continuing to play with the sprays, and I'm going to just paint some of that on, see what kind of effect I can get with just painting it on. Because eventually the spray is going to stop working, and what am I going to do? I'm going to have to use up what's in the bottle. So that's the lime colored gloss spray painted on. So now I'm going to go back to my page that I was doing with the angelfish and paint a little bit on there and see what it does over the top of this acrylic paint. See if it gives it a glossy finish. I'm just going to paint two of them and see what the contrast is between them. And here's that tag that I was creating using my own spray. And this is another one of the What If stencils. And I have this night, it's almost a purple blue. It's not a navy, it's almost like a purple blue. And I'm going to paint in those bridges using that same medium with a small brush. But you see how you can utilize these not just as a spray, but as long as it's still wet, you can paint things in and add to your image. Now, this spray is like any other medium. You want to get it off of your stencil because it will dry on there, and it does have a textural element, so make sure that you're wiping your stencil down or putting it in some water. Now, I've got this page that I've been working on with the goldfish, and I decided I want to put a quote on there. Now, you're going to see a little misspelling happen. That's okay. I had my fibro brain fog yesterday, and been very busy here. Good news is my husband's home from the hospital, and we're recuperating fine, so, I deserve the brain fog. But anyway, I'm writing this, and I get halfway through, and it's a live show, and so the audience is wondering where I went to because I have to think when I write. I cannot write a quote and talk and create art at the same time. It's like chewing gum and skipping or something. It doesn't work for me. So yes, my angels are going to be angles until I get it fixed, but I will get it fixed eventually. But I'm writing my quote, and I will, decorate it up a little bit better later. But, the show must go on. So I wanted to talk about angels and sheltering in place and all the things that are going on in the world right now, because what we did was shopping in place and got a few new things to play with, and now we're playing with them. So, speaking of shopping in place, look in the description box below for Carla and What If NC. I think you will enjoy her shop and her stencils, and if there's something custom that you want made, she can accommodate you. So, what am I doing here? I'm just going back to this other page. Oh, I am going to create a, what do you call it, glaze. I want to glaze this with this other brownish tone. And I really wanted to, I don't know, I got distracted during the show. My Wi-Fi had gone down. It wasn't bad enough I had brain fog. Then my Wi-Fi quit, and I had to go out of the show and come back into the show. And it's a little disconcerting when you're trying to, create on the fly for people and share it with your friends and talk to Shell and talk to the audience and whatever. So that was a piece of paper. That pinkish one was one that I created in the show last week. Okay, there I couldn't even get the stencil on right side up, but what the heck. But it's a cool stencil, right? It's a ruler. It's a cool stencil. And then this one is the one I was talking about that she had done for Laura with the Asian characters. This is a Zen one, and the other one that she did, I think, says listen. It's pretty cool. So here's that piece of watercolor paper that I'd been working on, and I'm just showing, how I can take some of these page components from one of those collage books and very quickly put together a collage using some of these papers and things that we've got here. And just auditioning, how we do. We kind of put things together on a page. Gonna staple those down because I don't want to spend time gluing. Get my long arm staple gun so I can reach into the middle of the page. Showing how you can fold it over, you can attach that into a book, have a flip out, all that kind of stuff. So, where did I go next? I don't know, but my drop paper is starting to look pretty cool. Okay, so I've got this other tag. I'd used some Finnabare's products on that swirly tag. It's sand. They call it sand texture paste or something like that. And I put that through that swirly stencil to start with. And then I'm just going to glue some of these pieces down on this tag. And make a creation. And these are just components for collage. We're going to be talking about collage components next week. So this is what I do a lot of times is I will just create tags or just create pieces for collage that I can rifle through. You saw my bin full of cutouts and have them available to make something. So there's that homemade spray tag. And I'm going to look through first I'm going to put some of that plum ink on the edge. I guess I want to deepen the color. Love that plum. And then that one I think needs some green, so I'm going to get some leaf green out and use a little bit of that on there. It doesn't take much to, dress up a tag with some ink and spray, and that's making me happy. The colors are starting to pop. That word that Shell hates. They're starting to pop. So, pulling out a couple of those component pieces, trying to figure out what to put on these tags. I think I'll end up with Art by Marlene or something on that other one. I don't know. Still playing, still pulling things out, still trying to figure out what I want to do. So I decide to get my Pitt pens. It's time to add some highlights and shading and things. So I'm going to start around the edge with this orange tone. You can see that green over the fish really didn't do, excuse me, really didn't do much for that. I'm so sorry. I thought it was going to make it more textural, and it did not, but I'm going to use this blue to shadow under my fish and use a baby wipe to kind of move it around a little bit and blend it in. This page does not have gesso on it, so it's not moving as easily as a gessoed page. But yeah, there's my good old misspelled quote, so I'm going to end up fixing that in the end. You'll see that in the final shots, but you know, the audience is telling me I'm doing it wrong and I'm not paying any attention because my brain fog has kicked in. That's the thing about fibro. You get brain fog and you just don't pay attention to a lot of stuff. And, you know, I think I'm a fairly intelligent person, but when I get like this, it just doesn't help. So, that green spray is one that I had created. I don't know. I think during the chaos of things getting cut off, I missed part of the video. And what I had done is I'd taken some of the Seth Apter iZink ink and mixed it with water and made a green spray in that iZink bottle. I have to say that the iZink bottle is not the best sprayer. So if you want a nice spray, like I got with the more orangey spray with the Cell Creator, I would use a different sprayer because those just kind of spit at you and they don't pop back up very well either. So if you're looking for stencils, check out What If NC, and if you're looking for anything else and are shopping on Amazon and going to do it anyway, like sprayers, check out the description box below for my link to Amazon. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but if you shop using my affiliate link, I do get a few cents for this channel, which helps me provide video content for you guys. So, just going to finish up these tags, give you some final shots. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing and liking and sharing and all those things that help us on YouTube as creators. And go check out Shall C. She has video in fast mode from this morning also, and I think you'll like what she is doing. And that's it. I will get my angel fixed and I will talk to you later. So thanks for stopping by, and I will see you again next week with another fast video from Art Joy of Sharing. If you want more video content and challenges from Art Joy of Sharing, come and join us on Facebook. We'd love to see your art in our group. Bye for now.